Welcome. It's time to check the game notes. You see the Arm Dog. He's over there in a special studio. I want to thank everybody for joining us at this special time. I'm going to let you know what's going on with my travel in just a bit. But Arm Dog, you went boots on the ground in Winnipeg. You win the battle between us, between the Blues and Winnipeg. This playoff's been crazy. We'll be lucky if the Chicklets crew, if we're still friends at the end of this. But I want to get started first and just hear about Game 7 in Winnipeg where they took out the Blues.
Well, buddy, I got to get into that, obviously. That was just like that was just horseshoe up you-know-what for me to get there. It was unbelievable. Merle's idea to create Spittin' Chicklets YouTube channel. Merle's idea. Yeah, of course. Hot on Spittin' Chicklets last episode. But I was playing in like a Alzheimer's charity tournament this past weekend in Toronto. I played like 3 games on Friday, and then on Saturday there was like 4 games. So on Friday night I get a call from Sportsnet like, "Hey, can you go and can you go to Edmonton possibly and maybe interview some guys?" Great interview last night with Calvin Pickard in that game in the pregame show up on Sportsnet in Canada. I posted on social media also. He's awesome. So I get like 4 or 5 guys there, but Merle's doing this job. You never know like when these guys are going to come out, right? Are they going to come before practice or are they going to come after? So I'm ready before. So I sit around and wait. Sometimes you never know. Well, all the Oilers guys came right before practice. The Jets played that night, Game 7. They asked me after, they're like, "Hey, we're going to go to Winnipeg too, because if they win or lose, if they win, we're going to interview them for round 2. So I was like, kind of on like a holding. So I quickly got those 5 interviews out of the way after hockey, flew to Edmonton, got in late, got up early the next morning, was there ready to go. The boys came in, bang, bang, bang. Said to the guy, "Let's get our flights. I need to get to Game 7. This would be unbelievable." Got our flights bumped up, landed in Winnipeg, got out of there, got into the hotel, threw my bags in, went to the rink. They're singing the national anthem. The streets are packed with people. They have TVs outside. The national anthem's playing. I'm speed walking to the rink for Game 7. I get in, they just dropped the puck. I'm trying to find where my area is where I'm sitting. I hear something. I'm like, no, shit, no. I look at a TV on the concourse. I'm like, I see them score the first goal right away. I'm like, oh no, 1-0. So I'm like, okay, I'm in my seat. I sent a tweet out. I'm like, I'm in my seat. Let's see what happens. Like if the luck will change, Merles. Fucking 2 minutes later, 2-0. I'm like, oh my God. Some guys are tweeting at me like, "Leave, Army. You got to get out of here." I'm like, I just got here. Bush, buddy. Needless to say, not much atmosphere, not many chances for Winnipeg. Kind of quiet. People are anxious on feeling bad. Then all of a sudden, the Manitoba Miracle, bud. Nemesnikov scores, and then they get going. And just like that in the last few minutes, Perfetti, couple great tips, that chop tip early to get him in the game. And then Nemesnikov, and then with 1 point, whatever seconds left on the thing, maybe it was like 2, they maybe adjusted it.
Yeah.
Perfetti scores again to tie it up. And then, boys, the barn started rocking for overtime. They took over the game. They tilted the ice. They were feeling it. St. Louis looked tired. It was just like a matter of time. And Captain Lowry just ends it. No double OT. Just an amazing, like a historical game, right? Like that Perfetti game-tying goal was the latest goal scored to tie a game in a Game 7 in NHL history. So just dramatics. The first round, that was the last game of the first round. The first round was just incredible and insane, Merles. But to be there, boots on the ground in Winnipeg, then went and had a little dinner the next day with Schenner. The boys had a day off. And then the next day, I had to go in and interview some of these guys as they get ready for round 2 against Dallas. It gets harder from here for the Jets. But and now I'm in Boston.
Yeah, you're everywhere.
I flew from there to Boston last night. I got to Witt's house and came in for like a little bit of the third period. I was trying to watch on my phone, and then I come in and Hyman buries the game winner coming down the wing. But both games just dominate. But I'm at Witt's house. I'm in Witt's place, baby. Look at his studio. Look at this.
Yeah, I don't want you to get into the recap yet because I forgot to tell the people we got former NHLer Kevin Bieksa joining us in just a few minutes to recap all the games and then, more importantly, preview the 2 games tonight. Both the Canadian teams are in action, right? 2 Canadian teams in action. Florida at Toronto, Dallas at Winnipeg. So both games in Canada as well. So he's dialed in. You see him on Sportsnet every night in there. So he's going to be great for us. But before we get to him, we got to do some news. Or wait, should I tell you why we had to do the early show? Maybe.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so we have to 11
Kev.
o'clock because I am on a flight out of Newark at 5 o'clock to Sweden. So you're not the only guy in the move. And if you recall, when Minnesota Wild ended their season, I was a little disappointed since I drove Fleury to his first game. I didn't get to drive him to his last game. But now Marc-Andre Fleury's going to play in the World Championships.
He'll be in Sweden.
Crosby and McKinnon. So they're flying me over to drive him to his last game. So that's why there's the last minute change and why I'm flying out today. So if you're looking for me, I'll be in Sweden, hoping to get down for some World Championship games. And I'm on call waiting to drive Fleury to his last game.
Well, I mean, why wouldn't they do that? But that's a great call. You'll be over there, boots on the ground for those games. You'll probably have like McKinnon and Crosby and Fleury touring them around in a little cash car, little back seat. They won't fit in there because the cars are tiny. Yeah. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do with these guys, Mur?
Yeah, like Fleury and Crosby and McKinnon are like the old school guys too. They're still thick. Some of these new NHLers, I could fit 4 or 5 of them in the back seat of my car over there. But on to NHL news, real NHL news. We had the draft lottery. The Islanders won, but I want to bring G on to talk more about it because his team dropped the 7th, and G, he's dialed in with all these prospects. And what do you have to say about that draft lottery, G?
Yeah, just a roller coaster of a week for me, I'd say. Monday night, started out my day. I woke up, I shaved a mustache for Misas. Muzzies for Misa was what I was going with. And then worst case scenario, Bruins fall to 7, as low as they possibly could have fallen. It sucks because like teams like Vancouver and Utah were in it till the very end of the season, didn't trade it, didn't sell off everything at the deadline, and still were rewarded at the lottery. In terms of the lottery, I don't know about you guys. I still had no fucking clue what was going on. I wish they
God, what was going
so
on?
Confusing. It's like, why can't they just put like 1,000 balls in a fucking thing?
Like have the logo on the balls or something so we can tell they had numbers, and then Bucci would be like, whoa, wow. And I'm like, what the fuck? Wow, what's going on?
Yeah, they're like, oh, Islanders need 14 and 7 here. It's like, well, why can't there just be like an Islanders ball? Like, why?
You put 100 balls in. If it's San Jose has 20%, what do they get? 20 balls with their logo. And then it really is like random, and you can see it be random, and then it pops up.
And then they go to the fucking commercial break right before they do the first overall pick, and they try to tell us it's not rigged on the same day, that Governor Kathy Hochuli writes a letter to the NHL saying it's bullshit that you pulled out on the All-Star game in New York. Tinfoil hat is on, boys. Little bit of a conspiracy here, but I like conspiracies. I think it's awesome. I think it's almost better if Gary handpicks who's getting the first overall pick so we know what's going on. Islanders would have lived in purgatory for the next 10, 15 years had this not happened. But my week did get better because on Tuesday, I woke up like a little kid on Christmas morning. And I knew for months that the Gargoyles and Hurricanes announcement was coming. And it was something I had to keep my mouth shut on. It was very, very difficult, especially when you're out at the bar, you've had a couple of drinks, people are coming up to you asking you like, who's the Gargoyles affiliate going to be? I kept it quiet, and it finally came out yesterday. They had the announcement. We had the announcement at the Greensboro Coliseum. We're teaming up with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Were those meetings contentious at all with the whole Rantanen trade issue? I saw Biz tweeted out hilarious tweet last night. Great return on the Rantanen trade.
Perfect timing. Yeah, while that was all happening, I kind of was like, let's be nice to Canes fans here. We're about to be a part of the franchise. But Biz is a genius.
As a Canes alumni and a point per game player in the preseason, I don't understand why I didn't get that little heads up. I could have used that little nugget there. But I want to go back to the draft for 1 second. For the last 2 years, James Hagens was considered #1 pick until the start of this season. He kind of dropped as this D. Schaefer moved up into the #1 spot. And I think part of that was San Jose was like, all right, they got enough forwards. They probably need a D. Do you think now maybe because Hagens, he is from Long Island, I believe it that the Islanders will take him #1 overall?
Girls, he was like plus 4,000 to be drafted first overall, like 2 days before the draft. Now he's like plus 450.
Okay, yeah. So everyone's thinking the same.
Right, dude.
Yeah.
Because
So hold on. So hold on. When you bet on a guy, like say you bet on a guy like this Schaefer to go first overall, I don't know how it works. Does that like shift everything, or does the numbers stay the same on these guys when you're betting on certain guys?
Well, if somebody like Whitney comes in and makes a real bet on it, it's going to change. Not our little tiny bets we make.
It'll fluctuate it really, like on that.
Yeah.
It'll drop the odds down if there's big money put on it, or raise them.
But Army, I was asking you, and you asked about some of the prospects, Merles. I was asking you a couple months ago because I know your dad's a WHL scout. So I was asking you about this Roger McQueen kid. You know, I think he's like 6'6", 240, just like a big. People are comparing him, if he didn't have this back injury, to like Jumbo Joe, the way Joe Thornton plays. But then he's got this back injury, and that's because right now he's fallen in that 6, 7, 8 range, right where the Bruins are drafting. I personally, I don't know how you guys feel, but like back issues, I'm staying away from guys like that. Don Sweeney can't miss on this pick. This is such a crucial pick for the Bruins franchise. Back injuries are so risky. Where do you guys stand on the back injuries? Like I'm avoiding this project.
I know I played with his dad. His dad's just like a year older or 2 years older than me, maybe, but I played junior against him. He's from Saskatoon, like where I'm from. I know his dad fairly well. Great guy, Scotty McQueen, just a beauty. He could chuck him too. Good athlete, ripped. His mom was like a star basketball player in the city as well. Like just a great athlete and like family of athletes as well. So he comes from that. So he's huge, right? He's 6'5", like 200 and whatever pounds for this kid. The back injury, what is it? Is it a tailbone? I'm not sure exactly. I don't have enough information from that situation. He hasn't played a ton of hockey, you know what I mean, the last few years with dealing with this. But I heard from people that like if he was healthy, he'd be like a top 2 pick.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's like a monster, athletic stud, and can play and plays it right, like power forward style, big dude with skill. So I don't know. They're going to have to do their due diligence on him, but I imagine there's definitely teams that are like, because like you said, those back issues, man, you never know, but hopefully they can get some answers. He can quiet that down a little bit and teams can feel comfortable with him. Because if you get him and he's healthy, he's supposed to be a stud. And I would love it, and nothing more than for him to be a stud being from Saskatoon. I could just talk about him all the time. And if he's on the Bruins, that's me pumping up your Bruins.
I love that.
That's your bar across the street, getting more pump, getting more drinks, getting more food sold. So it's a roundabout way, a circle. What's up?
Sold me. You sold me.
Yeah. So so it's going to make for an interesting draft out in LA, and everybody's going to be looking for the next Calder pick. This just got named. Hudson, Celebrini, Wolf are the 3 finalists for the Calder. I feel like Hudson took over and is going to win it after the way he ended the season. Montreal made the playoffs, but three awesome guys right there. You could have had Michkov in there as well. So congrats to those 3 young guys. We're a Hudson Brothers podcast, so we love to see that.
Absolutely. I think Hudson killed. Like the production, the amount that he was able to affect games. Like he ran away with it in the last month there, playing meaningful games, getting his team into the playoffs, being a big part of that. For me, that's a no-brainer. Setting like rookie records for Montreal and it's just crazy what he did. Point streak records through the season for Montreal rookie defenseman, like all this stuff, like everything he did, that he touched, he impacted the game just massively. And then when you make the playoffs, that's different too, right, guys? I think everyone weighs that in.
Gee, anything else to wrap that up? Drafting
guard? No, I mean, I was just going to say, Army mentioned, big, strong, athletic guys. We got one waiting in the back here. We
get him in.
The biggest, the strongest, most athletic guy I know in the back chat here. Let's get him in.
There he is.
I thought you were going that way with it. I could do a little draft talk, boys, or a little rookie.
Oh, all right. Yeah, here he is. Kevin Bieksa, veteran of 808 NHL games, Vancouver and Anaheim. Was petrified of him in Manitoba when he played in the minors against him. I saw this guy. I've told the story before. Oh, Bowling Green. Like this guy can't be tough.
Yeah, guy's a dork.
I'm 2 years into my career.
Yeah, RPI is just so sweet. Like everyone's so cool that comes out of there.
Yeah.
He was calculating
this kid. I'm going to torture this kid all game. I start running him. Like, you want to go? You want to go?
He gave
me a look. I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I'll see you later.
Yeah, not a chance. So
Hey,
cocky
can I
out
weigh
there.
can I weigh in on that rookie of the year
Yeah.
conversation? So
Yeah.
I know like Lane Hudson's kind of like the favorite for everybody, but think about like Celebrini. He had 25 goals this year as an 18-year-old. Army, you were running around the SJ headshotting guys as an 18-year-old. Like 25 goals in the National League as an 18-year-old on a team that, the year before, nobody would watch their games. Like I live on the West Coast. I would even turn their games on. They were the most boring team in the NHL. They were like dust. And then all of a sudden, Celebrini and Will Smith come to the team and they're must-watch TV. So just don't
I
sleep on
agree.
Celebrini. And then
Yeah.
Dustin Wolf, you can make a case for as well. Like it's so hard to be a starting goalie in the NHL. It's actually a great year for the rookie of the year. Like, yeah, Hudson's definitely the favorite. I'm not taking anything away from him. I thought he had an unbelievable year. I also think it's hard to be an offensive defenseman as a young kid. But what a three pretty special kids, right?
I will say this: you're the face of Hockey Night in Canada, no question. And you're not watching San Jose Sharks game. That's the difference between us, Merles. We're up watching those games. We never
Looking for the
are not
overs.
yeah, we're looking for the late night over. You're correct. That's absolutely it. Way to give away your secrets there, Kev. But great points. I watched Celebrini, to your point, and he looks like a veteran. Like the way he moves, the way he creates, the way he plays, his responsibility inside of how good he is. Like he doesn't look like an 18-year-old kid when he's playing, which
he's going to be good
special.
too. Like he wants to get better on both ends of the puck. So I think like he'll be like an Eichel where he starts his career and he's like offensive and cheats the game a little bit on the offensive side, but I think he cares more about winning, and I think he'll turn into that 200-foot player. So anyways, lot of great young hockey players these days. Couple pigeons, but also some good young hockey players.
Yeah, that's I was saying. Michkov could have been in there. He ended up having a
Yeah.
great season too. But before we move on to the playoffs and talk about the games and preview the big games tonight, we got to find out what's going on in Vancouver.
Oh,
There was a
Kev.
Twitter hack. You got Rutherford trade. I don't know. Is he trading for both Hughes or trading the Hughes he has? What's going on out there?
Oh, I don't know.
You must
what's
have some
going on.
lines in there, Kev. You're ex-Canuck. You're in there all the time. You and Buble hanging out. Like, what's going on?
Bublé's got some opinions. I'll tell you that. Yeah, he's definitely got some opinions of what's going on. I don't know. Like it's been, for the last couple of years in Vancouver, you guys know, it's been a little bit of chaos. It's been good for the media, a lot going on, a lot to talk about, but I think the first thing for them is obviously to pick a head coach. Pick a head coach. I thought Talk did such a good job the last couple of years, him and Adam Foote, of creating a culture again. Like it was kind of missing in Vancouver. Like, we always talk about like the team that we had that, kind of was dismantled in 2015. And then for like a few years there, it was kind of all over the place while the new core came in. And finally, the last couple of years under Talk, that new core had a culture and identity. There goes JT Miller's traded and all the other stuff going on there. So now I think it's important that a new head coach comes in and creates another good culture, because that's the foundation of the team. And then all of a sudden, you start winning games and all that. But right now they're kind of up in the air and they got to find out who their new core is. Like, is Besser coming back? Doesn't sound like it, right? JT Miller's gone, like I mentioned. There's all the mention of Quinn Hughes. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Or are you going to bring in more Hughes brothers? There's just so many questions right now in Vancouver. I don't have the answers to them. So we're going to stay tuned and watch the show.
Well, Jimmy kind of opened up the door on the Hughes brothers conversation. Like, that was electric. He slings it, man. He just slings it.
He's entertaining, and he says it. He just reminds me of like those old school, like Brian Burke, right? Just say whatever's on your mind, and I appreciate that. I respect that. So, is that a possibility? I don't know. It's pretty exciting to think about, but it seems like that'd be a little bit far-fetched to get both Hughes brothers. Like, why would you let Luke Hughes and Jack Hughes go if you had them in their prime at a young age? So I don't know. That'd be a tough one for Van, but wishful thinking.
I like it. So you want to move on? Let's quickly talk about the game in Toronto, Florida and Toronto. We haven't talked about it on Chicklets Network yet. Toronto wins 4-3, but the big story, Stolarz is injured. Arm dog, you're this type of guy. You'll fall on a goalie if you're pushed or, give an extra whack. Was Bennett the menace up to his tricks again, or was this totally accidental?
Well, Kev's like that too. Don't let him slide on this. Bieksa's
No,
like this.
I'm the one protecting the goalie in front of the net. I'm not the one doing this. This is you to a T.
Yeah,
This is Corey Perry to a T.
But like,
Right.
if this is Bennett, if this is like a different player, maybe it's like different. But because it's Bennett, it's like huge right now, and Leafs fans are crying like crazy. Did you think it was like that bad of a like? It was more of like a bump than anything. I don't think it was like an elbow to the head.
So a couple things that like I feel like I'm the minority here in Toronto. Obviously, after it happened, Elliott's talking about it, suspendable and making his case, and Leaf fans are going nuts. So a few things for me. Number one, they're on the power play, right? Like he's not trying to run the goalie on the power play. Like they're trying to win the game. Number two, it's his buddy, right? Like and I know Stolarz. Stolarz is the nicest guy. Like he's not one of those teammates that you're like, oh, this guy's kind of a wiener. Like he's a good guy. Like if you played with him, then you like him and you're friends with him. And Bennett even admitted after they're friends. Like he's not the kind of guy that you take a shot at for no reason. So for those two reasons, I don't think there was any intent with Bennett. I think he was trying to stuff it. I think in real time, it looks very, very innocent. When you slow it down, it does look, like he's kind of extending his arm, but I think he's extending his arm because his leg kind of gets caught, and then he's kind of extending his arm to brace himself so he doesn't fall on him. I don't know. I feel pretty unbiased because I don't have a dog in either fight, and I feel like that wasn't intentional. And I know people in Toronto
they're going to go
like
nuts.
But I mean, I'm just telling you what I see. I don't see any intent there. It's unfortunate, right? You don't want to see a guy puking on the ice and leave the game and stretcher it and over to the hospital. Like, of course you don't want to see that.
Well, then there was the Reinhardt shot to the head too. Like that popped his head off. Like his helmet exploded off. It's like that was right down the gut. So, I mean, you got those two incidences. Who knows what it was? Who knows if he was? They're saying he's on a stretcher too. Like,
I think it's protocol though when when you're taking someone to the hospital. Like in Toronto, they clear out behind the dressing room all the media and they bring the stretcher in and they stretch them into the ambulance. I think it's just protocol. But like Jake Allen was working the show, obviously a goaltender, and he told us that when you get hit straight on with a puck, because I'm like, it cannot feel good when you get a puck in the face.
It rocks you for sure.
No, but you get it straight on because of the way the helmet is aerodynamic and you can see it and brace for it. It doesn't hurt that much. So the first one he gets off the helmet, like it stuns him, but I think he looks okay. But if you get anything from the side, the way the helmets are, the goalie helmets, there's not as much protection there, and you really feel the ones on the side. So if you're looking at compounding effect, and if you're looking at the second one getting it from the side, it kind of makes sense why he would really feel that second one. But it with a delay, like a little bit of a delay, right? It was like a 2-3 minute delay before he puked. So it makes sense. I mean, it sucks.
I've had that too when I've got my bell rung. Like the next day, you would do like an exertion, and you get sick. So maybe as that kind of wore on, and he's exerting, and then he's getting symptoms or effects from it. No question.
It makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Merles, you look like you've had a few concussions before. Is that accurate for you?
No, that's just from all the gambling and drinking I've done. So I've actually was pretty lucky. I think Doug Murray gave me one in college, I believe, but that was really the only one that I was made. Yeah, Cornell, that I got diagnosed with.
I remember playing against him in that small little rink there.
Exactly where it was my senior year. He rocked me in there. So that was really the only one I ever got diagnosed with. Who knows how many I really had, but in youth hockey. But that's for another day. We'll talk more about the Leafs when we preview that game tonight. But to talk about last night's games, let's go through them. Capitals, Canes. Canes outshot them, 33-14. The Caps did not show up. Canes take it in OT. D-man shot, a little sifter army, as you like to call them, as you're getting famous for. The sifters into the mixer, and that one didn't even get mixed up, straight in. What were your thoughts last night?
It was crazy. And Kev, I guess just throw it to you. Like, I thought in both games, I thought with Vegas, and we'll get to them, but with Washington too, like just rusty. Like they look like they're rusty. And I know Carolina plays that style of game, which is not really that exciting. They work hard, they skate, they get the pucks, they win battles, and they shoot like a gazillion pucks. But like that's going to be there. But 5 shots in the first, 6 in the second, 3 in the third for Washington. They just did not look sharp to me.
Yeah, like if you look at when they were successful against Montreal in the last series, they kind of bullied them.
Mhm.
They would run around, they put the puck in deep, and they just run Montreal, and then they would create a ton of ozone time and turnovers, and then whip pucks at the net. Carolina is a big, strong team, and they play this. Everyone knows they play this man-on-man system. So first of all, you can't bully them. Second of all, there's no time anywhere around the ice because everybody when they're on the ice is like locked in on their guy.
Yeah.
So like there's just no gaps and there's no like, oh, I gotta sag and be in this like quadrant of the ice. It's like that's my guy. I'm gonna get as close to him as I can. And every guy takes pride in not getting beat up ice by their guy. So you just got like all these little canes, like and they're not even little, some of them are big, but they're always in your face and they're always darting. And so there's no space out there. There's no neutral zone space. There's no like to break the puck out is hard because everyone like locks in on a guy and nobody's really open. So unless you beat somebody, like the D beats a guy or someone beats a man, you're just like chipping pucks out and high flipping pucks and you're never actually getting anything accomplished. So like the Canes are they're a tough team to play against, man. They just smother you.
I
And
gotta ask you.
yeah, go ahead.
I gotta ask you, do you think it's like as the series wears on, as you go with the Canes, like they've kind of, I don't know if it's ran out of juice because they play a very demanding style, Kev, but like, can we get outside the box and game planning against them? Like when they're doing this man-on-man shit, like do a power play breakout, drop it back, send your wingers way out of the zone, pull the D back off the line, then have them button hook and come back towards the play and speed from underneath to kind of create some kind of chaos. It's low event hockey against them because like you said, there's guys on every guy. Like, you know, you're cycling in the corner, guy pops into the slot for a shot. You can barely get the shot. There's a guy on you. You have to start like coming outside the box, creating stuff because they play so different that you just come into the game. You're like, we're going to do this style. And you've got to, as 7 games wears on, come up with some other ways to like confuse them or make them make mistakes or bad reads.
Yeah, this is where like a little RPI hockey sense comes in. So
Yes.
if you watch the game last night, the Edmonton game late, you see Draisaitl's goal, what happened. So I did like a whole thing about how Eichel is just all over McDavid, 4 Nations. He was always above him. He never let him skate it through the neutral zone. And so the one time in the third period, Connor gets the puck and he winds it up behind the net. He picks it up behind the net. And Eichel's like kind of right there with him. And Draisaitl comes out of nowhere and picks him in the neutral zone, knowing that like he's trying to lock in on Connor. He picks, if you go back and you watch it, Draisaitl picks him. He allows Connor to skate in. He goes all the way into the goal line, pulls up, hits a guy, and then they end up scoring. But like that kind of thing, like little, like if you know, if I know Army, you're guarding him, Merles, you're guarding him. If I kind of just run a little interference, like away from the puck, like your guy can get open, like my teammate that you're guarding. Like there's got to be some more of those little, like I feel like there should be way more like basketball, like just running into a guy, a little pick here, a little bump, just to give like your buddy a little bit more free space.
Pick and
like
roll.
Like if you're just trying to like isolate yourself, like you're playing right into their system. So it just has to be a little bit greasier that way, I think, but a little more RPI Cornell hockey IQ.
Well, what I was going to say is in juniors, when I used to get shadowed, I would just go shadow one of their players. So then it was 2-on-1. So I was going to say that. Go and shadow a guy and throw a subtle interference. And I was taught by a coach, if you put your back to the guy, you won't get called for the pick. The refs like to call it when you're face on and you hit him with the pick. If he runs into your back and you give a little push like that, they won't call the pick on you. So yeah, Washington's going to have to make some adjustments. They got great coaching there. Carberry, our buddy Mitch Love's behind the bench there. He's a head coach in waiting. Maybe that's who Vancouver's going to get. So I expect them to make some good adjustments and figure out these Canes.
Yeah, you gotta
Merle's double shadow. The Merle's double shadow.
Yeah, I mean,
another idea I came up with.
You're gonna shadow me. I'm gonna shadow you.
Biz will try to steal it and say it was his idea on the next Chicklets. Watch this.
Yeah, you should double shadow a guy, no question. But that's the outside the box thinking we need, Merles. Those are the minds in hockey that we need. I feel like that part of the game is kind of gone. Everyone wants to play fast. We got to get up by fast. We got to play. We got to do this. We got to do that. Like let's start using our brains a little more in this game. And let's start sucking 2 guys in and going towards a guy with a guy on you. Like isolate, like go towards a guy with a guy on you and make him make a bad decision. Like a little bit more of that thinking involved with playing against this Canes team. But Merles asked a question last night. Hey, what's the plays for tonight? I said, Canes, Caps, under, no question. Under all day because the way it goes. And sure enough, just a low-scoring game. And Caps through the kitchen sink as they always do. But I think it's going to be like this throughout. I think this series is going to be one of these series, like 2-1 every game. That's how I feel.
This has got to be the year for the Canes to go far. Like, this has to be the year they punch through. And I know, like, they had Rantanen, they lost Rantanen. Now they have Stankoven. They've had all these, they've had Gensel before. They've had all these, really good teams. But, like, I don't know. I just feel like this is the one year. But they've always had kind of like some injuries on the side. When, like, they've had Svechnikov out before. And they haven't had, like, Freddie Anderson. But, like, right now, like, this has to be the year where the Canes could at least punch through the conference finals or maybe the Stanley Cup final. Like, they kind of need this team to get to that at least once, no?
Well, it's always been like a game breaker. Remember they got Pacioretty in there. Keely's got hurt, and then there was a saga with that. Like, they don't have that. Like, Svechnikov is going right now, these playoffs so far. They need a game breaker guy. They need those guys that can punch it through. And that's something that will help, especially stylistically with their play. Like, if they can have guys that can break through, like getting 50 shots a game, no one gives a shit. You got to break through. You got to score. You got to have guys that can punch through. And I don't think they've had that as playoffs have gone on in years previous. They haven't had that.
Maybe guy. Jarvis can have that breakout playoffs. He's had a great year, and he's a hell of a player. But
I love him.
Yeah, I think everybody loves the way he plays. He does it all, right? He's just a little guy, and he just does it all.
Yeah, and Chicklets bumped too, Merles, with the Gargoyles announcement the other day too. So they got that.
Yeah, I should have been on that. I should have been on that angle of that. I got the Canes in I got the Caps, in 6 games. So I'm in trouble there. I had Florida in 5, so I'm in real trouble in that series to get the right games right, but still alive with the teams. What were your picks on those, Army?
Oh, fuck. I don't even know. I think I got Washington 7. Washington and
Nobody
7.
Nobody picked the Leafs. No one picked the Leafs.
No.
Even Pasha. Pasha's such a follower, eh? Oh, except for the Edmonton series.
Yeah, Pasha.
Yeah, no, we can't let Biz have any extra ammo, so we had to all go against the Leafs.
Pasha would never vote against the Reinhardt, so Pasha's a loyal guy.
Oh, I know. Yes, he's a Reinhardt guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ride or die.
Devils are out. This is my second team. Go Panthers, baby.
Devils. We had Jake Allen the last 2 nights. You like Jake Allen?
I thought he was awesome for them this year. Yeah, I hope they bring him back. He was really when Markstrom got hurt, he kind of kept him afloat. So yeah, he's been great for the Devils for sure.
UFA
doing good on TV up. Too. Doing good on TV, getting his boots wet next to Kevin Bieksa.
More goalies, eh?
Yeah, Kelly and Allen. Was Elliott a goalie back in the day? Likely, eh?
Looks like it. I'm golfing with Elliott tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I thought too. Tell me how good he is. I want to know if he's good or not.
I played with him before. He's what you would expect. Like he's like, oh, hold on, I just got to do this radio hit. Like during the round. So he's got his earbuds in, and he's like for 15 minutes talking about
while he's
playing, and then he just like he's like, I'm like, Elliot, you're up, and then he'll like, which way's the hole, and you point him in a direction, he just hits it, and somehow hits like the fairway in the ball.
Wow,
like he's one of those kind of guys.
He has like the grips on his clubs or his cell phone. He can text while he's holding his clubs.
He plays well when he has. It's like when he's on air. He's on his phone. And all of a sudden they're like, Elliot, you're up. He's like, what? And then he somehow comes through. Like that's what his golf game's like.
Yeah, one of the
Need
best.
That sandbagger with him on there so we can capture that. But that's the only game we had to talk about last night, right?
Yeah, I just thought. Well, yeah, we got the Oilers talking. I thought like Florida though, like I don't know if we got like I just thought Florida when we looked at our pick. I picked them in 5. Yes, I just thought Florida looked so rusty and horrible. The same as Vegas, like just rusty and horrible. Like so, these teams got to figure it out, which makes tonight's games, that much more electric.
Do you guys think like with the Leafs and with Berube like coming in, implementing this new style, obviously where it's not as much puck possession, it's more like high
big
percentage.
Boy game.
It's pucks down low. Like they bring in Pacioretty, they bring in Carlo, they bring in Tanev, like all these like even keel dudes that just play the game hard. Do you not think that takes pressure off of the Leafs? Like in the past, they've gone into the playoffs and they're like this puck possession team. And there's so much pressure to make plays in the playoffs when we know there's no room out there. And then when they don't make plays, they revert to like dump and chase, which they're not built to do in the past. And I just feel like that's where all the frustration came. And you saw, Nylander and Marner and Matthews all frustrated on the bench this year with the way they play. Yeah, there's been like some media throughout the course of the season, like, oh, they're boring and they don't create any chances and they don't have enough shots on goal. But like, this is kind of a winning playoff style, especially when you play a heavy Florida team. So now that they did that against Ottawa, they were successful. They kind of endured Ottawa's little push. Like, I just feel like they're playing these games with a lot less pressure because of their style of play. If that makes sense. Like, it's a lot easier.
I 100% agree.
To just put it in deep and hit guys and wait for your chances. And then you get a power play. You put 5 forwards out there. They put a puck in the back of the net and you're up 1-0. Like, that's an easier style to play.
Well, look at their guys. They can score goals. They got guys that can score, no question. So play the other things, play the percentages, right? And manage pucks and play a little harder and be a little bit better defense. Like, they don't give up a ton of chances. Like, by far of any and all Leaf teams in the last, I don't know how many years it's been, this is like the most likable team with their style of play to like win for me.
24 shots against on average in the playoffs. Florida's better than them at 22, but 2 teams that don't give up a lot.
Yeah, and I picked Florida in 5 games. I wish I didn't. It should have been 7 just because the way this Leaf team plays. Like, they just give themselves stylistically a better chance to win games with the way they're built, with their core 5, as Biz likes to call them, with Nyes in there. Oh, my God, what a player this guy has been through the playoffs.
He's a
perfect.
Stud, eh?
He's perfect for like what you need. But they give themselves an opportunity to be tough to play against while having the weapons. And they've just cut down on the bullshit, like the TikTok hockey bullshit, and they play hockey. So I give Chief and his staff a ton of credit. And they had some runs, right, during the season, Kev? You covered them, where it was like, oh, they lost like 5 in a row. Like, what the hell's going on? And like, this is the process. This is what you get to when you get to playoffs. You have this team that plays a certain way that can win games and can win a series. And they're doing a good job right now.
Their D, if you look at their D, they have like a D core that you would look at that the last like 5 Stanley Cup champions have. Like, where there's like those big D and like there's not really like one like explosively offensive puck moving guy. They're all just big and defend. Like, that's the D they finally have. Like, I really like their D. Like, Carlo, Benoit, like OEL plays bigger than he is, even though he's like 6'2",
he
200
does.
pounds. Morgan Riley all of a sudden with a lot less pressure is playing a lot better and simpler. Tanev's and McCabe, you just know what you're getting with those guys. Like, it's a good, steady, not flashy, hard to play against D. Like, that's a Stanley Cup champion type D for me.
Yeah, the big D, they're just always, it seems like they're always in the way. They're always on you when you're a forward. They're on top of you. I think Berube's best thing is like I see they're not as selfish as they once were, those big guys. They're sacrificing for each other. I think it finally got through to them. Play for the team, play to win, and it does look like a new Leafs. It could be their year, and God forbid we have to listen to Biz about it all the time. But
Kev, what do you think's going to happen tonight? All
right.
I don't know. I mean, I think Florida really started to come in the third period.
Yeah.
Like, they finally got going. So I think it's going to be, they're going to start the game and they're going to kind of come at the Leafs. So I don't know. Like, if the Leafs can score on the power play, like, they didn't get a power play goal last game. So that's another thing they can improve on. I think it's going to be a long series, to be honest. Like, I think it's going 6 or 7 either way. I still kind of like the Leafs, I think. I'm not just saying that because they won the first game. I just like the way their team is, but I don't know. Like, it's going to 6 or 7. So, I could see Florida evening the series. I could see it being another good game, though, another competitive game. I don't think there's going to be any blowouts in this series.
No Stolarz. He wasn't even at practice on the ice. There's 3 other goalies there. So Wool will start. Nylander, 12 points already. Early Conn Smythe talk. Does that goalie change? You think that matters at all, or is Wool good enough?
I think Wool's good enough. I just think because they're so close, like, it's 1A, 1B, and I know Stolarz kind of had, like a little bit more starts and took the big jump, but I think Wool is definitely capable. He's got like that really calm demeanor too in a goalie where you're not super worried about him. And then like you just look at, like, I know like all these guys, they watch other games and other teams. Look at Pickard. Like, that's got to make you feel good as a backup when you're coming in. You're like, this guy just came in game 3 and just like has ran the table right now. Like, hasn't lost yet as a backup. And Wool's got to be thinking, hey, like I can do that, right?
Yeah.
So like that's got to make him feel good. So no, I wouldn't be too worried about Wool. He plays the puck really well too. Like he has a good exchanges and good handoffs, which helps out with breakouts. But yeah, I think they're okay that way. But Stolarz, like they obviously need him back at some point. But I think it's good to have two good goalies if you want to go deep in the playoffs, because some of these other teams don't have that luxury. They're one goalie and done.
And on the
Yeah,
flip side,
seeing
Bob has to be better. He let in that leaky one. The whole Panthers team has to be better, but on the flip side, they got.
That's why I think they'll be more competitive tonight, because
Yeah.
that was Bob's worst game of this series. Like he won't play worse than that.
Yeah.
Why don't we pop those odds up there, Pasha? I can check them out. And I mean, these guys talk me right into it. I got to be on Florida money line minus 142.
Oh, let me zoom in.
Get the series back 1-1. If you're antsy for the puck line plus 180, looking for the empty netter, arm dog, you're the puck line guy.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I am. I like that. I just like the odds. I play
Over
that
under
too.
5.5. You looking into that at all?
Well, these two teams, I'd pick the over on that if I had to pick. But
yeah,
I do like the puck
we'll
line.
hear from Mr. Ice again on this game. Got a feeling on that. We'll see. But
Mm-hmm.
that's that game. Moving on to the other big game tonight, game 1, Dallas in Winnipeg. Both coming off ridiculous comebacks in game 7s that I don't really want to talk about either. Will Heiskanen play? I saw Robertson was on a real line yesterday at practice, so it looks like he'll be in. I saw Scheifele, Morrissey, and Stanley are likely out. I don't know if that's changed this morning. I'll leave it to you, Canadian journalists from Sportsnet. You guys probably know better than I do.
They were on the ice yesterday at practice when I left Winnipeg, Juice. So I saw that. I know Elliot tweeted it out also. So I don't know. We'll see. Has the news come out yet from the time change back there at Skates this morning? But what do you see with these two teams, Juice, and how they've played? Dallas, obviously, very deep, fast, physical, big team. Winnipeg just put through the ringer with the battle level and physicality of that series and finding a way to get it done in 7 double overtime. I was there. The Manitoba Miracle, they're calling it, Juice.
Yeah,
it was electric. And here we go now. It just gets harder from here for the Jets.
I think the way the Jets finished that series, like the third period and overtime, both the overtime periods, gives you hope, I think. Because I think before that you thought whatever team gets through this round is just going to get pummeled by the Dallas Stars. But it's kind of like Edmonton was the same way until they kind of came on and at the end of that series you thought, okay, whoever wins this series is going to get killed by Vegas. So the Jets are kind of in that boat where they kind of started to show everybody like, wow, this is a really good team. Hellebuck, and I know it was only like a period and a half, like overtime and the end of the third, but he started to show you, okay, like this guy might be able to take over, and he's going to have to probably steal them a couple games if they're going to win this round, especially if they're not healthy early. I think it's key that they have home ice, because I really feel like they play way better at home at Canada Life. Canada Life, is that what it's called now? It used to be MTS Center.
Yeah.
But Canada Life, so that's huge, because they can kind of get their feet wet at home on home ice and maybe protect some of their matchups early in this series. Scheifele, like he skated in a sweatsuit before game 7, so you knew that wasn't a good sign. And now he's in equipment. So for everyone who's ever been in concussion protocol, like that's a positive step because of the progression of how you can get back into the lineup. So I don't know if he's going to play today, but it sounds like it looks good for game 2. Morrissey, he kind of like was doing some drills yesterday. Then he was skating on his own, doing some agility, forward, backward, open ups and stuff like that. And kind of like looked a little bit laboring. So I don't know, but how about like all the top defensemen?
Oh, shit.
Because after all, you're my Joseph Wall.
Are you just waking up?
Buddy, it's 8:45 here. I didn't sleep all last night because of the time change, and I was so nervous for tonight's game.
You have a lisp. Why do you have a lisp in the morning?
It happens when I'm on the stream yard on my phone. That's what happens.
Yeah.
So you
Busy.
How many days in a row did you work, Biz?
Look at this guy. Look at this
day
guy.
off,
This
finally?
is when you're making too much money. You have your drapes going up with his phone. He probably has an app on his phone to put his drapes up. Look at this room.
Square footage in this room.
It activates when I do my lift.
That's just a little chat.
What a beautiful day. Don't let it get away.
There he is, folks.
What were you guys talking about? Toronto Maple Leafs?
Yeah, we were.
We
Save
missed,
some
yeah, you
square
missed them.
footage
We
for
can
the
go
rest
back
of
to them,
us.
though. Are you not worried about Wall in for Stolarz tonight?
No. We got fucking goaltending locked in, boys. We're deep at every position. Come on. Stop the nonsense.
What about the
Biz,
comeback last game? A little nervous there, third period.
in your craziness,
No,
I know you're lost in the sauce. Of course, we know this, but are you not thinking that Florida's going to have a bigger push? Don't you think in your head they looked rusty and not quite there a little bit? Paul Lispinet, someone said.
I think it was. Stop laughing, Kevin.
Sorry, buddy.
I think that it was a good lesson for them to understand that these guys, when they're playing at the top of their game, that you can get in trouble real quick if you don't manage the puck. So good lesson to learn, but also take home the W. So all in all, couldn't be happier with the first games, getting the dub, got the D-men kicking still, and the core five is activated. And now with Woll having gotten his feet wet and getting that experience in that game, he needs to be a little bit better. He has to be aware of those. They like to send pucks and then just get their sticks on them. They like those high tips, I find. Florida.
Hey, BizNasty, can I ask you a question? So,
Yeah.
like, you know, like how Berube talked about the Bennett hit and his presser, and he's like, yeah, like there's not going to be any retaliation. In my day, I would have done something. Do you think he's just saying that and then secretly, like, Benoit is going to challenge Bennett? Maybe. Like, think about the fans. The fans would go bonkers if he did that, don't you think?
I love that.
I think Chief will be in full gear skating and warm up. And I think that Reeves will also be in full gear and warm up. And we'll see what happens from there. What do you mean, no? They're fucking coming for retribution.
But Bennett's not going to fight Reeves or fight Berube, but he would fight Bennett, don't you think?
No, I honestly think that in order for them to win this series, they have to play with like what and who they are. They have guys that can address that, and maybe a few guys might try and challenge him, but they got to worry about playing smart, playing between the whistles. If they get the nonsense that Florida usually sends their way, take the power plays and fucking capitalize and just play between the whistles. Don't try to be something you're not. They do have guys who can address the Bennett situation, but if he's not going to go, if that's what they really want to do, ask him. If he says no, let it go and just play hockey. Don't waste your time and energy and mind space chasing this guy around trying to get retribution for that hit. I genuinely don't think people are chirping my list. Should I hop on my laptop so I don't get ridiculed?
No, I love this. I love this.
Take the Invisalign out.
Let's go, Leaf. Let's go, Leaf. Go, Leaf, go. Go, Leaf, go.
Bith. I think it's unreal. I'm dying over here.
But it from watching you guys before I hopped on, like it seems like after that game, everybody's a little bit more of a believer. Like you guys have the belief right now.
Yeah, they're playing different
Don't
than
throw
other
me
years.
in their company. Don't throw me in this company, Biz.
What, you were always a believer?
I don't know if I call myself a believer, but I've always thought that they have a good team, and I had them beating Ottawa. I have them winning this series as well. I just like their style of play. Big Tanev fan, as you know, big Nice fan. I don't cheer for them as much as you do. I don't really cheer for many teams. I don't cheer for any teams. I cheer for my friends. But I just like their team. I think this is the kind of team that can beat the Panthers. The Panthers are a wagon, but I think
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this to both you guys then too. The physicality factor. I thought the Leafs, and I didn't think Florida looked that great. Yes, I've said that. But I thought the Leafs handled it well. I'm going to be curious to see tonight when the push comes. Now Florida has a game under their belt with some time off from last series. How the Leafs will handle that. I saw Nyes crushing Jones down in the corner. Like they got big D. Tanev absorbs hits, no big deal, makes a bump pass. They got their guys can absorb and they can play that style of game. To Kevin's point, I'll be curious to see and what you guys think it'll look like tonight because we saw the Florida Panthers come in Toronto at the end of the year and just fucking bully the shit out of them.
Yeah. To answer what you're saying, I wish they had like one more forward that was like a little bit like slimier and greasier and could match maybe what Florida has up front. Because like between Marner and Nylander, like obviously they don't have those type of temperaments that like the Bennetts, the Kachucks, and like even like some of their like mid-tier guys where they just kind of embody that because they're sucked into it. I feel like Matthews' temperament is very similar to Barkov's, where like that's an even trade-off, and given that they're number one centers, they're going at it. But I don't think that Toronto's afraid of them at all. Like I just think that they need to keep their heads and play that the way that they did in the regular season. Like I'll say this too. I don't think Marchand's going anywhere near Domi. I don't think he wants that. I don't think he wants that sauce.
I think the whole battle in this series for me is the Florida forwards against the Toronto D. I don't think Florida's D is overly physical. Schmidt and Mikkola and Forsling, they're not the ones that are running around. It's always been Florida's forwards on the forecheck, and it's always against Toronto's D. And like you guys said, you can't bully this D. You can't bully Carlo. You're going to take a run at 6'6" Carlo. He's going to kind of just brush you off. Tanev's like Gumby. You hit him, he goes against the boards. He doesn't even look at you. He skates up the ice. You don't get a reaction out of these Leafs D. They're just big and steady. Yeah, run me all you want. So, yeah, like what Biz is saying, it'd be nice to have one more forward that can inflict. But I still think the battle in the series is Florida forwards against Leafs D.
I love that. I agree. And you know who I'd like to see really get off the schneid here is McMahon. I think that he's been effective. I like his physicality. I don't necessarily think he's been playing bad. I just think that they're going to have some guys outside the box step up. And he's one of those guys where like he wasn't there against Ottawa offensively. I just really need him to find the back of the net and starting to get in his groove.
You know who wasn't playing this way, Biz, when you were in the league or I was in the league? Pacioretty. When did this guy turn into a heavy? When did he turn into a heavyweight?
Regular season, there was a couple games where he was throwing the body around, and he's basically like, I had to change my game in order to stick around. And I mean, yeah, like good for him.
He wasn't.
What's that?
Not in 2016, he wasn't when we were skating around.
No, but the thing is, though, it seems like with that, he hasn't really lost his playmaking ability and his touch. And if anything, at his age now, it's kind of what gets him in games. Like sometimes when you're taking hits and giving hits, it gets you a little bit more involved mentally. And yeah, I'm really happy with that addition. And I couldn't be happier with his first round performance with getting thrown
6'2", 220 too. He's 6'2", 220.
Oh, he's that heavy?
Skates like a horse. Like he's a thick, big dude. And now he's throwing the body around.
You mentioned Nye's Army. I think Nye's is the heaviest guy in the series.
What's he at?
I think he's like 240.
So Amber interviewed him, Biz, like before this round, and he sat down with them. And the first question he asked him was
227.
You're listed at 6'3", 227, but you look way big. And Amber's a big guy. He goes, you look bigger than that. And I was like, yeah, I am. And Amber's like, what are you, 240? And he goes, and he kind of did one of those around there.
Wow. So he's like Ovechkin.
But you know what? Like we're trying to find out right now because he is a half a mile to a mile an hour faster this year. So the only way to get faster at this age is like to get your legs stronger. Steroids. Well, his legs have definitely got stronger in the off season. So he looks like he's definitely put on muscle and weight because he can fly in a straight line.
Yeah, and another thing too is like I'm shockingly for how young he is. He's not. There's no fear in him. Like if he gets challenged this series, I wouldn't be shocked if we see him drop the mitts like we did against White Cloud. And he's a sneaky nail gun. So I don't even know how many Florida guys would want to go him.
Lefty.
Got a neck on him like a Rottweiler too. Like maybe he skates with his neck.
If he wants to guarantee himself 8 times 11, he should be the one challenging Bennett.
Oh, I know he should. He's the first guy that pops into my. You say Benoit, but I'm like, man, can't Nyes just dust this guy?
Imagine.
Yeah, that'd be pretty electric tonight if we got that. That'd be pretty electric, bud. Busy. What are you thinking about this Jets series? We were talking about that when you popped on. Started Dallas Jets.
Congrats to you because I know you've been backing them, bud, and like just
alumni.
Having Bones. Yeah, having Bones in studio and like, you know, just seeing the way that he talked about that group, and that would have been devastating for the city of Winnipeg, boys. Like I did not want them to lose that game. I thought that they were. because the morale was so fucking low, especially the way the game started. But I kind of, like we've talked about with the other series, wouldn't be shocked if they actually win game one. Not like, I know it was only one extra game layover, but they're riding a high right now. They didn't have to travel, so I could see them sneaking out game one. I'm interested to see, though, how much gas they have left, because I feel
huge.
St. Louis, they took a lot of wind out of their sails, man. They were so heavy on the forecheck. They were hitting everything. They're depleted now. They got, how many guys they got injured?
We're just right here. Shifley.
We got updates here from Tracy Meyer. Shifley in a regular jersey. Josh Morrissey in a regular jersey just a minute ago. So great news for you Jets fans and Thrashers alumni.
That's a great lift. So congrats, Army. That's huge. Everybody from the podcast had their team advance.
Got a guy going. I know. It's just unbelievable. I can't believe I was there for the Manitoba Miracle, but it's just electric. I was there.
Course, it was a miracle because they were dead in the water.
Done.
Nobody saw that comeback happening.
Done. No life, no nothing. The fans knew it. Everyone knew it. And then all of a sudden, bing, bing. There we go. Last couple minutes. Holy shit. Perfetti out of nowhere.
I was talking to Talkin, and he's like, look at the 6-on-5 right now and how it's cost some teams some series. Like, it cost St. Louis the series, and LA, that Byfield 6-on-5, that probably cost them the series. If they get that win, they're up 3-1. Like, I don't know if LA's blowing a 3-1 series lead, but it's shocking to see that, like, Buchnevich, what the fuck is he doing? Like, why are you shooting that puck? That's crazy. No,
their brains they were exhausted. I think it looked like they just ran out of everything.
He shot it over the net. Like, all he had to do was soft chip it and let Robert Thomas skate onto it, and the game's probably over. He shoots it over the net and hard, so then there's a whistle right away. No time off the clock. Yeah, that wasn't the smartest play.
Yeah, tired you are. Your brain turns off when you're tired. The experience, that's why you don't see Florida. Florida won't make those kind of mistakes as we go on. Vegas won't make those mistakes. So,
but also on the 6-on-5, like, did you see the play where Shen got it like below the goal line and the defense
just swatted it away? Yeah, he just threw it away.
I feel like that was something I personally learned. I think we learned in like Pee-wees, like, if there's under a minute and you know that you don't have a strong play and you got a guy breathing down your neck and also you're tired, if you're not going to get that out with a backhand, you just go eat it on the yellow. That's it. Just go eat it on the yellow.
I feel like teams don't practice that enough. Like, teams don't practice 6-on-5 because for those reasons, Biz, like, all your breakouts are thrown out the window because they have one extra guy. So guys make all these bad plays because it's so foreign to them, and they go back for pucks and they're like, oh shit, I have no options. What do I do? Then they throw a pizza up the wall, and then Nick Ehlers keeps it in, and then that's the tying goal, right? I agree.
Cool. If anybody needed a play, it was Nick Ehlers, boys. Like, he's going into free agency this summer. He wants a big ticket. 14 points in 39, or at that point in 38 playoffs games, only 4 goals. 4 goals in 38 playoff games. He still only has 4 goals in 39. But for him to extend playoffs by making that play over to Connor, I think he helped secure his bag a little more if he can get things done this series.
Yeah.
So I see this like with what happened with Hellebuck. Like, I kind of see a lot of parallels with Luongo, where, like, we, in 2011 we get by Chicago in overtime of Game 7, 1 versus 8 seed, barely. Like, we barely get through, and towards the end of that series, like the last game, Luongo plays unbelievable, and then he just rides that wave for the next 2 rounds and carries us to the finals. Like, I can see that happening for Hellebuck now, where he battled just to get them to overtime, and then he finally started to look comfortable, and that's like a little thing, but a big thing for goalies. Now, like, does he just come out of the gates and just steal this series? Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, 3 huge saves in overtime. Like, he dialed it in OT all of a sudden. He just, like,
pressure's off a bit.
Yeah, he held the fort, but and then in OT especially, he had like those 3 big saves in that first overtime, I think, where it was like, I was like, oh shit, he was out on the top, smothering, like, just looked like Hellebuck. Can he find it? Woo, that would be a nice switch for their team.
I want to say that he does. Dallas is one of the better rush teams in the league. I think they're top 5 this season. and he looks brutal off of anything east to west. Like they're so good and structural in the regular season, where I feel like they're able to direct traffic into their zone, where at least it's like in a controlled setting. Well, yeah, maybe teams will set up a cycle, but everything will always come from one side for him. And it'll be like a pretty predictable play where he can just front the shot. Anything that's going east to west now, where these teams in playoffs, especially now the final 8, like they don't really have many weaknesses. Like they're good off the rush. They're good on the power play. They're good in all these other areas. Why are you laughing?
The chat. Thank goodness he didn't need to say south.
North. You're saying east west.
The chat's lighting you up with the lisp. I love it.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Is it not good though that Winnipeg is going to be the underdog now? Finally, like it's such a you're so much pressure being the President's Trophy against the 8th seed in the first round. It's like embarrassing if you lose to them. And then now they go into this round. I know they're the higher seed, but they're definitely the underdog. Like now they can just kind of settle in and play their game. Like I feel like, yeah, we're the underdogs, and now like there's not as much pressure on us. That's what I think, other than all the other stuff.
Like not making the mistakes that they had. Like Bones talked about like their neutral zone and how good it was during the regular season, and how they essentially force a guy to a side to the red line. They dump it. They usually get it and bring it back out. And yeah, sometimes you're going to lose those, and they'll establish a decent forecheck. But the first 70 seconds of the game, they give up from nowhere these odd man rushes when it was a clear-cut neutral zone forecheck. So I feel like they just kind of go like mentally weak come the playoffs. But like you guys said, maybe it's because all that pressure first round, and once they get out of it and they're playing against a more favored opponent, maybe they'll get back to their old game. But do you not agree with me on that?
Quick question about coach. Yeah, I do. But a quick question about working with coaches, because Bones is coming in tomorrow with us, and I've worked with him before. And Newsy Lalonde, we had him for last round. When you're working with a coach on the panel, and Army, I don't know if you feel the same way, it's hilarious how these guys just cannot turn it off. So, like, if you're doing a double header and you start at like the 7 p.m. game, it's like 1 a.m, and these guys are still cutting clips of like a 1-2-2 neutral zone or like not above, and like they're like, oh, cut it right there, and we're like, uncle, like nobody cares at 1 a.m. about this guy. So when Newsy would cut stuff too late in the night, I'd be like, oh yeah, the old flat-footed 1-2-2 in the neutral zone that got Newsy fired. And he'd start laughing. He's like, oh, yeah, I get it. Like, coaches cannot turn it off. They're just watching it from such a technical angle. The whole game, it's technical. I don't know if you see the same thing with him.
That's all it was for Bones. Like, I look over, and he just kept, like, shaking his head, like, because he was so rattled because Winnipeg wasn't playing their style to perfection,
like,
right?
They're so structural thinking. Like, that's what they have in their brains.
That's it, right? And that, like, he's like, oh my God, like this is basically the one, if not the most key foundation to their game and how they dictate play. They've done it for 82 games. They win the league, and all of a sudden they can't do it in playoffs against a fucking 8 seed. Like, he was definitely turned on the entire time, and it was hard because he's probably not on Twitter, right? He was so Jets biased. It's all he wanted to talk about, how they had to get back to their game. And St. Louis fans are like, what the fuck? Like, can we not get a compliment here? Like, can we get a little airtime? So,
well, now he's going to be tonight. He won't know what to do. His head might explode with the series going on.
No, he said his heart lies with Winnipeg.
Well, there you go.
Because he played there as a player and a coach, and I think he spent 7 years total there. So he's already picked his side, but it is funny that both of his former teams, most recent, are going at it. So I agree with you. They definitely can't turn it off. And I'm looking forward to this. Like, I feel like if we could have handpicked every matchup, this is exactly what it would have been. Like, I even like Carolina, Washington.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Biz, we want to thank you for your time. We're going to move on to Thursday's game. We'll let you go. 2 huge games. Can't thank you enough coming on and actually talking about other teams than the Maple Leafs.
Go Leafs, go! Go Leafs!
All right, that's Biff.
You want to
nasty. I
you
love
want to
it.
get
I remember this
Kevin
last year. I
too?
think somebody made a T-shirt with BizNasty or something. The same thing happened
nasty. It's Lisp nasty now.
Lisp nasty.
Bith.
But I got to get going. I got to get over to the World Championships in Sweden.
right.
My flight leaves, but I want to give a couple picks quick for Thursday. It'll be the 2 games we saw last night. You guys know my EBR rule number 5. If the home team loses the first game, you got to hammer them in the second game. Very rarely does a team go down 0-2 at home. So I'll be on Washington money line plus 114, and then Vegas minus 135. You know my Vegas future. If they go down 0-2, I'm basically dead anyway. Oilers are the best team in the world. There's no way they'll blow this series. The Oilers are the best.
That
Whitney's
is a
the best.
mushy thing. Like,
And,
Witt's gonna be so pissed at that.
Did you
but-
sleep over at Witt's house last night?
Yeah. Buddy,
Yeah,
I flew into Boston last night.
I gotta
from
go.
Winnipeg.
Hold on. I'll let you guys
right.
catch up. BX, you take my
Yeah.
spot here. I gotta go. Thank you for coming on. Love your insight. We'll see you at the finals. I'm off the Newark airport. Wish me luck, boys.
All right, safe travels. See you,
Travels.
buddy.
See you, bye.
Kev, I'll let you go soon too. You don't have to stick around here, but yeah, I flew and I'm at Witt's house. I'm in his studio here in Boston. Stayed at his house last night. Going to pick up my kid at Mount St. Charles Academy. Take him home for the
Yeah.
weekend. Get him back in there. So my trip just kept getting extended from Toronto Alzheimer's hockey tournament with the alumni to Edmonton. Great interview last night, by the way. Thanks for saying that with Pickard. And then
awesome.
to Winnipeg, waited for them to win game 7, got interviews with them. So we might have some action in your show here tonight as well.
Yeah.
And ended up here in Boston on my way down to Woonsocket, Rhode Island to pick up my son. But thanks for the time, buddy.
I've been on the phone, I've been on the phone a lot with junior coaches and GMs trying to move on a bunch of our kids. I've been talking to a couple SJ teams, and that's kind of your neck of the woods. Warman Wolverines, that used to be Notre Dame.
Yeah.
They moved to Warman, and then Flin Flon. I know they're in Manitoba, but they're also in the SJ.
Yep.
So a couple, have you played in both those rinks?
No, I haven't. The Warman rink is fairly new. It's like a giant, nice community center they built, but moving Notre Dame's SJ team into there. So that's like a brand new, same franchise, brand new place, brand new like operation. No question. Flin Flon's been around forever. Reed Simpson, ex-teammate of mine, played up there. I probably know some other guys that played up there, but I tried out, I think, I've tried out for the Humboldt Broncos when I was younger, and I tried out for like the Melville Millionaires because I think they drafted me, and I was like 14 or 15 when I went to those tryouts. Didn't make it, obviously too young, but I'm not super familiar with the SJ, although I do know like where all the teams are and all the guys. So I know a lot of college US teams, some of them in like the smaller colleges, Division I, will go through the SJ and find some of those guys and pick them now in the old rules. Now it's different now, but yeah, you can find some beauties in there, man.
It's just interesting. I'm gonna fly around and visit all my kids next year, and so I got kids in the BC, the Dub, the AJ, and now the SJ committed for next year. So
can they throw both?
I had 5 of my kids that are saying they're fighting their first shift.
Oh, here we go. There,
hockey.
they'll fit in great. Oh my God!
Just to like show that they can compete in their in their beauties. So we'll see if they follow through. It's easy to say you're going to do something, and then let's see if you follow through. But they're all like, we're fighting first shift just to show that we're in this. I'm like,
some big fucking farm boy just opened the wrong door. Been there, done that. That's what my nose is on.
Pick the right guy. Pick the right guy.
All right, Kev, have a couple good games tonight. You'll be on all night, I imagine.
Yeah, I'm Leaf game. We got to split it up because the games are so close. So Jets will get their own panel. Leafs will get their own panel, and it'll be another good night of hockey for us.
All right. Well, thanks for bringing it to us. You're one of the best in Canada. Appreciate the time this morning, and just follow along, people. There goes the juice, Kevin Bieksa, one of the best analysts in the game, up in Canada on Sportsnet. Thanks for the time, Kevin. There's Pasha right there. And I think is G coming in? There he is with his guard, the boys with.
That was awesome. What great banter.
Great banter. I mean, Biz just comes out. Did he wake up, open his blinds, and just start blabbing about hockey with a lisp? I mean, does it get better?
Pretty much.
Who's that?
Mike Tyson. That's incredible.
That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable, buddy. I love
Army,
that.
I believe you actually wanted to share an AI generated image as well. No.
Well, this is my show. Yes, I have to give. We're gonna do show mindsies.
Let's do some show mindsies, boys.
Show mines
Yeah,
for the chat. Let's go, chat.
Let's do it.
Nath. All right, I'll go first since you teed it up. And yeah, just my travels ended up in Boston. I actually texted Whit. I asked him if I could do the show at his place because I didn't have my shit with me, like my mic and my camera. I did not plan this. Like I ran on underwear, socks, whatever. And he's like, yeah, no problem. You can use my setup. All good. And you can stay at my house. You can come over and we watch the games when you get in and stay over. So I'm like, okay, that's super easy. Thank you. Thank you. So thank you to Whit for letting me stay at his house. That show, that's hospitality. That's being a teammate. So here's a shot of me sleeping in my bed in Whit's house, just shutting her down right there, just getting a good night's sleep in Whit's spare room. Like, I mean, that's no joke. That's pretty much like what Tavares looked like when he signed with the Leafs. Remember, he had the jam and everything. That was me sleeping in Oilers Nation room right there. And they had on the little TV on the side, they had video clips of Oilers fans in McDavid jerseys and Draisaitl jerseys from actual footage from after the Oilers win games of these guys just like beating the shit out of each other in the streets of Edmonton, just playing on like what's going on with Edmonton too. They're just beating the crap out of each other on the concourse at games, in the streets. It's just video after video after wins and like guys in like double McDavid's going at it like toe to toe. It's just insane. But that show for me, hospitality. Thank you, Whit. Love you for that and having me over here. Saw all his kids this morning off to school. Just amazing. Those guys are just beauties. They're going. And man, I'll tell you what, his wife is handling it all. And Whit's, he's like, okay, guys, like get your shoes on. Like I'm watching this. I'm going, man, this guy's me every morning. So his house is busy. It's
watching you guys in dad mode is so funny.
It's hilarious.
Different eyes. It's hilarious.
Yeah. It's hilarious. So Whit has it going pretty good. He's got a great setup and a great wife and the cutest kids. They all look the same too. It's crazy. Their little faces are so cute. But that show, way to go, Whit. Thanks a lot, brother. G.
All right, I'll go next here. And I know I do this a lot, and I don't want you guys to think this is a waterworks type thing or anything, but I have to give this a shout out because it really meant a lot to me and my family. So unfortunately, my Uncle Paul lost his battle with cancer last week. It sucks. Just the best guy ever. True guy's guy. Loved beers. Loved drinking beers with the boys. Massive Chicago Blackhawks fan. Loved Bobby Hull growing up. But unfortunately, he lost his battle with cancer last week. But he loved jerseys. Was a big jersey guy, big jersey collection guy. So I'm going to call up Fanatics. And in particular, the executive Brandon Williams. So my mom was down with my Uncle Paul probably like 2 months ago when things started to get bad. And she was talking to him and, what's going to make you happy right now? And he's like, I just want to complete my jersey collection. I really want a Utah hockey jersey, like a customized, authentic Utah hockey jersey. But they were all sold out. So basically my mom's like, sorry, we can't get that for you. My mom's telling me about this. And I'm like, hey, we have a connection at Fanatics. I know this guy, Brandon. Let me shoot him a text. So I shot Brandon a text and I'm like, hey, I don't mean to throw this on you, but my uncle doesn't have a lot of time left. He really loved a Utah hockey jersey. The next day he had a Utah hockey jersey. So that's shout out to Fanatics. People rip on Fanatics all the time, but a gesture like that, I'll love Fanatics for the rest of my life. And it's just it's something that's so little probably for Brandon. He probably just, texted someone on the side, hey, here's the address, send them off a jersey. We do it all the time with Chicklets, sending merch to people. But a gesture like that's so little, it made such a profound effect. It had such an effect on my family forever. So I said I wasn't going to get emotional here, but it's just, I'm so happy that Fanatics was able to do that before he passed. Yeah. My mom was so happy. So shout out to Fanatics. It's an awesome story. It sucks that my uncle lost his battle, but he got to go happy because he got his Utah hockey jersey. So shout out to Fanatics. Shout out to Brandon Williams. We'll love you guys forever.
Yeah. Great gesture. Amazing gesture. Sad news. Fuck cancer.
Fucking
Just
worst,
horrible.
huh?
Yeah,
It's just the absolute worst.
it's the worst. And then a little bit of more news that we didn't get to. They named their team whatever, the Mammoth too, on top of it, which was what, yesterday or today? They just did
This
that
morning. Yeah.
just this morning. So brand new naming of the Utah Hockey Club. So there it is.
Got a 1-of-1 jersey too, because he's got the old Utah Hockey Club jersey. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's a perfect way to cap off his amazing hockey collection, his jersey collection, and just an unbelievable guy. So, shout out to my mom, the whole McIntyre family dealing with that this past week. It's been a tough week, but like I said, guys, like after chemo, he'd always be texting me. I'd be like, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? He's like, oh, I'm drinking some beers, just having some fun, watching some sports. Like, you're not supposed to drink beers after chemo. And he was just like the big guy. And one quick last story, just to describe the type of guy he is. He was a bigger guy. He was a bigger man. And when I was like 3 or 4, I was such a little brat. Like, I was the worst kid. Like, just like, first, if it comes to my mind, I'm saying it. And we were at my grandparents' house down in Connecticut. And one day we're all in the kitchen and I just look around and I'm like, hey, why is Uncle Paul so fat? And he's a big guy. And my mom immediately slaps me, brings me in the back room, sitting me on the top of the washing machine, yelling at me. And he walks in, he's like, bud, here's a life lesson. Just say it behind my back. Don't say it to my face. He's like, everyone else says it behind my back. And so just, that's a life lesson for you. And I always remember that. And then one last thing. Sorry. So there was this one time we were at my grandparents' house and I was in the backyard, and I used to love to go into the backyard and like pretend to be like a knight. Like, I'd go in the backyard and I'd have these sticks, and I'm 4 or 5 years old. I'm going up to everyone, pretending I'm a knight, like slitting their throats, cutting them, hitting them, just doing everything. And no one in my family remembered this besides me. And then when he passed the other day, my mom gives me a call, and she's like, hey, did you know about the McIntyre family sword? And I'm like, no. And she's like, well, my great-great-great-grandfather fought in the Crimean War. And we have this relic. It's like we call it the McIntyre family sword. It's like our family's most prized possession. Your uncle, it was his. And he's leaving it for you because he remembered that you used to love to be a knight in the backyard when you were like 4 or 5 years old, hitting people with sticks. So it's crazy that he remembered that. And it's so awesome that I got that family relic. And yeah, just I know I'm rambling now, but I just kind of wanted to honor my uncle and honor Fanatics. So
sorry for your loss, Chief.
Yep. Sorry for your loss, buddy. Yep.
Love you, boys.
For my show, something silly and lighthearted is Bob Stauffer. The guy's a legend. I don't know if you saw this video he posted, but
oh, it's the greatest.
Holy cow.
Look at this fucking man. This guy is a man.
Just an all-time intimidation arrival video. I mean, look at
the music on it is amazing too. Like, go and look on it on social media, but like, it's just like a perfect music for the big Staff wheeling up.
So I was thinking, like, watching this, like, and after we had Gary Lawless and Bob Stauffer on Chicklets this week, like, why doesn't every team have like a guy like them that's like so like that the team reporter should be like this marketable, fun guy the fan base can rally around, that other fan bases want to have on their shows? To like, I think more teams need to take a page out of the Edmonton Oilers and Vegas Golden Knights book to see what they're doing with Staff and Gary, because I think it's incredible.
Well, they're like they're characters, right? They're characters for one, which they have that's just who they are. So they're like that, but both of them too, like to your point, just bleed their teams like up and down. Like Staff's brain is just full of fucking insanity from like the 70s to like now. Like, he is like dialed from every stat to who won what and how it worked out and who's doing this. And if you can remember back to Game 5 of the regular season, like Gary's the same way. So like, they're unbelievable. I got to see more of those guys. Those guys are awesome. So the fact you guys had them both on the same show is just electric to me. I'll always think back to the time me and Gary
I was just going to say it.
Me and my guy, Gary Lawless, at 2 a.m, right in Lauderdale. at Taco Bell or whatever it is, Taco Time, Taco
Cheesy
Bell.
gorditas with
He
Gary
went off.
Lawless.
Oh yeah, he went off menu. He knew some secret menu there, and it was just we're eating it over, looking over the ocean down there in Fort Lauderdale. We'll always have that, Gary Lawless. We will. But Stoff and Lawless, to your point, unbelievable. That video is. I watched it probably 50 times.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Like the sunglasses on top of his head and just everything about it is just beautiful. What a specimen. What a beautiful specimen. All right, Mindsies, boys. I'll go first. My Mindsies, Yans. Yans to the Mindsies. Yans doesn't know anything that's going on. Yans doesn't have social media. Yans is like, what do you guys, where'd you see that? It's like, dude, like you got to get on social media, buddy. You got to stay up on this shit. And he always is asking us stuff in the group chat. Like, where did this happen? How did this? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, how do you not know this? Like,
At the very least, a burner account if he doesn't want to have like a public one.
At the very least, a burner account. Yans to the Mindsies, no social media. The fans want to follow him too. I bet you people in our chat want to follow Yans and see what he's thinking and doing. I think he's, and Whit has said this too, he's made for that stuff, like little quick one-off messages to people and what's going on and what he's thinking, and also staying up to date on it. It's like he's following the NHL in a way in the olden days. Like he's just on radio, which I know he's done games on radio while he's got his kids at different things. And he's like bragging about how great it is to listen to a game on the radio. So maybe he's just old school, but Mindsies for Yans. Get on the socials, bud. Let's pick it up a bit.
All right, my Mindsies, we touched on this at the beginning of the show, but the NHL draft lottery, I just, it's
Get
so,
over it, G.
it's
The
so
Bruins
simple.
didn't win. Get over it.
It's so simple. And you know what? Even if the Bruins lost and they just did it like we said at the beginning of the show, you throw 100 ping pong balls in there, and they all, and 20, if you have 20%, you get 20 ping pong balls, and they all have the Bruins logo on them. No one knew what was going on during this.
No.
Like, for the Islanders to win, they had to get 14-7. Like, it just, like Colby said, like, I was reacting based off how Buchagras was reacting. Like, I'd wait for him to be like, holy shit, it's happening. Then I would react. It was like, oh, something's happening here. So I just think they need to do it differently. Mindsies to the Bruins. Bruins are in the Mindsies for tanking this whole season. You know, Utah Islanders were in it till the very end, and they got better picks than them. So Mindsies Bruins, but this draft lottery, we got to try again. Let's try something different again, because this wasn't it. Cut the commercial break right before the first overall pick, right after Kathy Hockley sent a letter to Gary Bettman. I got my tinfoil hat on. I know something's up. I want it done differently next season.
There you go. Posh.
My Mindsies, it was already kind of touched on earlier by you guys, but just sort of like the Buchnevich type guys going for the empty net late in the game and costing the game. So I won't do that, but like also pivoting, you know, not to beat a dead horse, I'll put the Rangers and the Mindsies for slipping down the ladder in the draft lottery. And then also to beat a dead horse, Devils injury luck. Now Jesper Bratt's getting shoulder surgery. I just like, I can't believe what's going on here. Yeah, it's insane.
What was the injury, Posh?
I don't know. He honestly, he didn't even look hurt. Like he was throwing his body around. He looked unbelievable.
He was playing incredible.
I know. So like that was quite a shock to hear, but like, yeah, just the laundry list of injuries continues in Jersey. I don't know what's going on there.
Putting his arms in the air too much, maybe, Posh, hey, from scoring and assisting and stuff, you know, maybe that's an old injury.
I wish that was
shoulder
the
celebrating.
There wasn't much selling.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Well, there it is. Show Mindsies, boys. Thanks a lot. You guys are beauties. I don't know if we want to get some CHL news.
Yeah, let's do it.
WHL finals. You want to pop that up? I don't know which one you want to pop up first here, Posh. There they are right there. Spokane, Medicine Hat. That'll get going. Both teams riding the bus back and forth has been
crazy. 8.5 hour bus ride.
8.5 hour bus rides back and forth with these teams. That's the Western League, baby. But two powerhouse teams kind of cakewalk their way right to the final. So this will be a great matchup. You can watch that on Victory Plus app for free, which I found is awesome. So you want to see McKenna, you're able to watch them in the final, playing to go to the Memorial Cup in Rimouski. The OHL final is upon us. There it is right there. London Knights. I know Barkey, I think, hurt his ankle. Flyers
Didn't
draft.
they play last year in the final too? London and Oshawa?
I'm not sure. London's always there. Oshawa is a unit of a team, though. They have like 5 guys that are just studs, I guess. Like you got to watch them. You got to tune in. somehow if you can watch this finals, because I guess London gets a lot of chit chat, no question, for multiple things, but this Oshawa team is supposed to be a wagon too, so this should make for a pretty good final as both these teams kind of cruise their way to the final as well. And in the queue, over in the Quebec League, there we go. We've got it. Moncton, who is the number 1 team in the CHL, and Rimouski, the team hosting, will be there in the final also. So I believe if Rimouski wins, Moncton still gets to go. So this is your Memorial Cup Quebec League setup. And then we'll wait to find out who goes to Rimouski off of that. So pretty good by Rimouski being as good as they are and hosting. Like I've seen teams sit 40 days before they get to play in the Memorial Cup.
That's
and
crazy.
that's crazy, right? Like that's just crazy. So there's your finals.
Lot of eyes on the WHL because from what I've been told, Gavin McKenna won't talk to teams until his season ends. So a lot of college hockey eyes and a lot. I think there's a few teams out there that are banking on guys like Gavin McKenna and they're holding that roster spot and because the transfer portal's open. So these teams are holding roster spots, holding NIL money, waiting for the guys like Gavin McKenna. And they can't even talk to him yet. And there's a lot of reports out there that, Porter Martone being offered $250K, like a lot of that is false right now. So just keep that in mind. Like there's a lot of rumors floating out there right now. Yeah. I will say my rumor about Gavin McKenna, that one's not false, but most of the other stuff out there is pretty false right now.
I mean, what's McKenna going to do though? Is he going to go to college? Like he has to I mean, to stay there another year, it's crazy. He's got like 190 points or something in the playoffs. He's just lighting it up. He's on like a 54-game point streak and has like it is insane.
It's there or Europe, Army. It's there. He's taking like the Austin Matthews.
Yeah, the Austin Matthews route. And you can still get paid. Obviously, go sign in Swizzy or make a decision which league you want to go to, Swiss or Sweden or Russia. I don't fucking know. But
Penn State is making a push. Penn State is making a push on McKenna, though. I think they're getting some donors together. And like I said, no one can talk to McKenna yet, but I think Penn State does have some money to throw around.
Well, you can go watch him on that Victory Plus app, like I said, and keep track of that final so you can get your eyes on him and see what all the hubbubaloo is about. He's a pretty damn good player and a light show out there on the ice. So fun to watch, so quick, so smart. There's your CHL rundown and breakdown. And that's pretty much it, boys. That was a show. Thank you to Biz for coming on. Thank you guys for all your hard work, putting everything together behind the scenes. Dale for putting me in Biz's or Witt's Edmonton Oilers room. Very classy of him. Thank you to Kevin Bieksa for coming on. Always great to have him on. So cool, calm, collected, smart hockey guy, just absolutely dialed in and kicking ass on Hockey Night in Canada, up in Canada on Sportsnet. And yeah, that's it. What do we got coming up here, G?
We got another Chiclet show coming to you live on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. I think we have some monster guests planned. But yeah, that's really it. Sticking with that Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule and just banging out some playoff games, boys. Go buy some Greensboro Gargoyle hats. We got the new Chiclets hats that are available now, the summer hats. We got Greensboro Gargoyles hoodies on greensborogargoyles.com. So oh yeah, and I do have one more thing I wanted to say. So good friend of ours, Jeff Jacobson, sent this over, and I just wanted to give a quick plug to the Hudson Cup. Basically, anyone in the Toronto area this weekend, there's a round-robin tournament called the Hudson Cup, named after Hudson Sullivan, who tragically passed away last year. Go to thehudsoncup.com for more info. They have a silent auction, which includes the jersey Sid scored the golden goal in.
Wow.
That is incredible. Hudson, I just wanted to talk about Hudson quick, true hockey fanatic, played in 3 beer leagues while he was living in New York, just going over to Chelsea Piers. That if you play in 1 beer league in New York City, you are a hockey fanatic. Getting to Chelsea Piers, there's like no locker rooms. You're Ubering over there or you're taking the subway, just the biggest pain in the ass. So this guy, just a hockey guy in every aspect of the word, famously scored a hat trick on disgraced New York Congressman Anthony Weiner. So pretty cool. So shout out to the Hudson Cup. Shout out to Hudson Sullivan, who tragically passed away. And you can visit thehudsoncup.com for more info.
Yeah, check that out. Support, no question. Great shout out, G. Fucking right.
Silent
Your
auction,
Kyle.
too, boys.
Yeah, great silent auction prizes and a good thing to support, no question. You can follow us at Game Notes Bud on X, at Instagram at Game Notes. Like, subscribe, and remember, you can always find audio on Apple, Spotify, at Amazon, and click auto downloads to help us out. Give us a go. Game Notes next week, Wednesday, 12 Eastern time. Merles will be back in Sweden, and God knows where I'll be. But we love you, everybody. Enjoy the hockey tonight. We're in the round 2 of playoffs. And we're going strong. Let's go hockey. Let's go, people. Thank you, chat.
Go Gargoyles!